I have some slides here to review just a little bit of what was presented this morning and maybe give you my take on some of this, because I'm your academic advisor, and I'm often dealing with students who in many cases did not attend the orientation, weren't aware of some of the things that they might run into, or maybe they did and they still need some help kind of maneuvering through the system. So, and this will be available to you online for review. You don't have to take notes. There is no test afterwards. It won't be proctored. Okay, so just a reminder, academic progress. We have very little issues with this. It's not a big problem for us. We don't have a lot of fallout from our program, but it's a reminder that you are required to maintain a 3.0 average. Actually, I said maintain, but you're actually required to graduate with a 3.0 average, okay? And dismissal would be based on an accumulation of 3 C grades, so you could look at it as you're allowed 2, the third one and you're out, or 1 F grade. These are the kinds of issues that occasionally a student's not aware of. I had one student who said, well, her target for a particular class was to get a C. And I said, well, you really should never have a target of getting a C in graduate school. In fact, some graduate schools don't have the grade of C. So the entire grading policy is in the academic catalog. But I just wanted to caution you on that go a little bit slow. I was working when I did my MBA. Occasionally I took 2 courses during a semester. Most of the time I took 1. The times I took 2, I burned myself out to the point where sometimes I took the next semester off. So, plagiarism. This was discussed in detail. This is another one that occasionally I'm asked to help a student with. Sometimes I've had professors come to me, say they have a student that they think is in trouble, or I've had a student come to me, say they have a professor who's told them they're in trouble. There's not a lot of room for forgiveness here, okay? So make sure you're aware of whatever policies, procedures, how your professors want your documents cited, your sources cited, things like that. We have the tools to find you if you're copying. So it's just too easy to do today. It's easy to copy and paste, but it's even easier to find that somebody's done that. So financial aid. The only thing I can tell you here is I'll help you through the system, and a lot of you are not located here on campus, so we can move paperwork around the building and around the various buildings and things like that, but I'm not the expert on financial aid, so if you need help with financial aid, please call that office. I heard them mention scholarships, that there are not many scholarships. You're right. We have 1 MBA scholarship, though, that is designed for students who have some connection to Sandhills and Sandhills Community College. So what it's been in effect this is the 2nd year. The first year we had 5 recipients. This year we only had 1. So if you're taking classes in that area, you should definitely apply for that one. But several of the other scholarships that are available in the School of Business don't specify undergraduate or graduate. So once a year in the spring, there's a process for you to apply for a scholarship. You should do that. Our MBA students, several have earned scholarships, so it is possible. Probably the best form of financial aid to students is what Michael's doing, graduate assistant or something like that. And I will say, we get 2 graduate assistants assigned to the School of Business. Those require you work 20 hours a week. Ours are pretty flexible as far as when you work, okay? You're usually assigned to several faculty members to work with those faculty members on their research, and then we have some office work that we usually rely upon our graduate assistants to help us with too. Appeals. Okay, so I broke all the rules. Now, how do I fix it? I don't think we've had an appeal yet, but it's pretty simple. But these are the things you can appeal. Time to degree extension, you have 5 years to complete your degree. If you have good reason why that can't be done, Credit reinstatement, that's a fairly easy appeal. Transfer credit after deadline, again, not too difficult. This credit reinstatement is sometimes your courses will time out on you, and you'll have to apply to have that reinstated. A grade appeal, there's a complicated process there. I would say the best bet on a grade appeal is work that out with your instructor. It's going to get difficult after that. That's probably the easiest way to do it. But if you're not satisfied, not able to reach a resolution with your instructor, then there is a process for that. And then this readmission. So if a student leaves the program for one reason or another and wants to get back into the program, there's an appeals process for that. Okay? And all that's online. Course load. I wrote down here 9 semester hours is considered full-time. For some purposes, 6 semester hours is considered full-time. I told you my personal experience as a part-time student that was working full-time was, 3 credit hours was my limit most occasions. Excellent students may request an overload and take 12 semester hours. And again, here my rule of thumb for approving that is this 3.5 GPA. So if you're a new student and you want to do that, I'll base it on your undergraduate GPA. If you're an existing student who's taking courses, then I'll base it on your graduate GPA. Okay, but that's my rule of thumb. A student taking 6 credit hours per semester can complete the program in 3 years, or 2 if they go through the summers. So if you go year-round, you can complete this program. It's designed to be completed in 2 years. And you have some materials in your folder there that will be helpful. Our program for all students is comprised of these 8 required courses. I put a note in here about this one particular course. We made a program change in the fall of 2015, so everybody here should be subject to the new catalog. The old catalog had Management 5300 as a core course. We replaced that with Management 5362. Now, if for some reason there's somebody here who's in the old catalog, what we've done is, since we don't really have Management 5300 being taught very frequently, we do a course substitution there. So really you can go through the program with either one at this point. But most of you, it's 5362. That was Management 5300 is Human Resources Management. And it's not that we thought that was not important, but Management 5362 is International Business, and we felt that we needed to make that change. We needed our students to be exposed to international business, and something had to give. So it turned out that it was Human Resources. You can still take that as an elective. Okay? Now, you have a tracker in there that basically you could use to plan your program, okay? If you're a provisional admission, these top 2 blocks would be significant to you, because what they do is describe either undergraduate courses or graduate foundation courses that you can take, that you need to take if you're provisionally admitted. That's the most common provision, is that if a student comes to us and they don't have a business degree, or if they have a business degree but perhaps it's from a university that doesn't have the same common body of knowledge as we have, they're sometimes left with a provision or 2 that they have to do. Those are the core courses, but you can follow that on the tracker. Everything here is on the website too. Electives. There are certain electives that are required for your concentrations. Those are only offered in the summer, and they're only offered online. And the reason for that is that way they're available to all students, whether they're online, Sandhills, Pembroke. Okay, so if you're taking one of the concentrations, you need to be careful in making your plan that you're going to have to go to summer school. You're going to have to take those electives during the summer. It's going to take 2 summers in order to complete them, because we have half of them available one summer and half of them the next summer. Now, the population of students has grown so rapidly that we're looking at the design of this, and may make some changes there. One potential change would be to have all the electives that are required for concentrations available each summer. That would help some of these students who are trying to move through the program a little faster. But I would caution you that 4 courses in the summer, I don't know, anybody, how many classes did you take this summer?
I took 2. I took 1 each semester, and it was like one, it ended June 28th, the next one started June 29th.
What would your opinion be on taking 4?
I think, honestly, I don't think you could do it if you want to retain the knowledge. I think the 5-week semesters are too short, personally. If you actually want to gain knowledge, they're too short. That's my
Yeah, one of the other considerations we're having is we have a little flexibility, and that's good feedback, because one of the things we're thinking of is having our courses go through both sessions. So in other words, you would take one class, but it would be a 10-week class rather than a 5-week
I was thinking
class.
8 weeks was going to be like the minimum that you would want those semesters. 5 weeks is too short for the amount of work that's necessary.
Yeah, summer is kind of an interesting phenomenon because faculty are not required to teach in the summer. And so we basically have to go out. They get paid extra to do it, so most of them, are willing to teach in the summer, but not all. So our summer schedule, we have to accommodate whatever the faculty requests. But anyway, if you're taking a concentration, that's how you'll have to complete the concentration. All the other electives are offered sequentially on a 2-year schedule, okay? So they'll be offered either online or in a video from between Pembroke and Sandhills. So everyone will be available. But again, it's going to be primarily online or in those 2 classrooms. The classrooms will be a little more limited, okay? There'll be more availability online. Okay, so the 2 concentrations, I don't know if anybody here has signed up for concentrations. I suspect some of you have. So these were an idea where we packaged some of our existing classes, but we're going to recognize these students. This will go on your degree. And we felt that we had 2 concentrations here that would help students find jobs. So if you're aimed at one of these industries, even if you have not signed up for a concentration now, you can change that. You want to change it as soon as possible. You want to at least plan for it as soon as possible, because if you start taking general electives and then say, I want to do a concentration, well, your general electives are no longer going to help you towards your degree path. Okay, you're going to need the electives that are required for your concentration. Okay? If you do no concentration, you have 4 electives of your choice. So in all cases, you do 4 electives. To get a concentration is not added credit hours. It doesn't cost you more, but you do have to take a different approach to the program. Schedule. And this has been really a moving target, I guess is the way I would describe it. With that said, online, our current plan is to offer 3 core courses and 1 elective each semester. I am proposing that we increase that to 4 core courses per semester starting in the fall of 2017. That takes more faculty resource, so a lot of that's dependent upon what the university is willing to dedicate to an individual program. So, but I think we have enough students to make that work. If we do that, then a student could technically, if they're an excellent student, or meet my definition of excellent student, could actually complete the program in a year, because they could go fall, spring and summer, or summer, fall, spring. You could complete the program in 12 months. Sandhills Community College, currently we offer 2 core courses and 1 elective each semester. The 2 core courses are taught by our graduate faculty on site. So there's no broadcast back and forth. The 1 elective is a broadcast course. So in other words, if you're taking a class at Sandhills and it's an elective, you'll probably see the faculty member about half of the semester. And the other time you'll see them on the TV screen. Okay. Pembroke, 3 core courses and 1 elective each semester. That same elective that's broadcast up to Sandhills. So a student could complete the program. One of the reasons why we have the 3 core courses in Pembroke is for international students. We need to be able to have a full load of classes for international students, so we need those 3 core classes for that. And international students tend to want to get through the program very quickly. They're generally not working unless they're a graduate assistant, so it's within their capabilities to do that. And as I mentioned before, the electives required for concentrations are offered in the summer. So it takes 2 summers to complete. Yes?
Just to clarify, when it says on the schedules, like SAM/online or UNCP/online, they're offered in both formats. It doesn't mean that you have to go attend campus and online component, it's or.
Either or. Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
You're looking at an Excel spreadsheet that's in your handout, this one right here.
Perfect.
The key is over here on the side where it says comments. So if it's in red, it's a class taught in Pembroke. If it's, what is that, blue? Sandhills?
Yes.
Class taught at SEC. You can see online is green. There's UNCP with an arrow pointing at Sandhills is this video class, okay?
Mhm.
So, and it doesn't mean that the professor will always be at UNCP and the receiving site will always be Sandhills. It's usually about 50-50, but it's up to the professor. Now, a lot of our faculty live in Southern Pines, so sometimes Sandhills actually gets more than 50%. But that's really up to the professor. There's no actual requirement there. And then the one with a slash where it says Sandhills/UNCP, it means that it's a classroom class in both locations. They're all separate sections, but it would be separate sections and it would be more than likely on different nights of the week. Okay. But this is our, again, our rolling 3-year schedule, and you could map out your entire program using this. The caution I give you is that I'm recommending some changes for fall of 17. Now, I don't think those changes would adversely impact the plan. What they would do is probably favorably impact the plan. Okay, it's going to be more frequent classes.
So you mean adding classes?
Yes,
not
yeah, I'm
taking
planning
them?
to add classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this proposed right now, or this is what's currently
This
in
is,
place?
this is only a proposal. This is
Okay.
only a plan,
Okay.
I'd say. So I feel strongly that we'll have this schedule, but it'll be amended because there's not enough classes on this schedule to handle the number of students. And you need to take at least one graduate class each semester in order to be considered a graduate student. And we had a large influx of people that needed all 6 foundations, so they were accepted in the program, but they were going to get kicked out at the end of the semester because they didn't have any classes to take. So this enables them to enroll as a graduate student. They can take their other classes at the undergraduate level, they can complete their provisions and catch up to the rest of us. So, yes.
Are we moving on? I'm sorry, I just want to ask 3 quick questions about this.
No, you can ask questions anytime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
please
going
do.
to kind of reiterate myself. I just want to make sure I'm
Yeah.
understanding. So UNCP/online, because I'm a distance education student, I'm working out of Wilmington, so I will not be
Yeah.
able to commute to either campus. That
Right.
means I can take that class mutually online.
Anyone that says online, there'll be an online section, you can take that class. Yes.
Perfect. And then my second question is, when you said adversely impact, sorry again, I'm just clarifying. I've already planned my whole schedule out.
Right.
So that means that nothing's going to be taken away, but something could be added. Or it's possible something could be taken away.
Well, I need to be real careful about this. I mean, things happen.
Yeah,
We had a faculty member pass away.
right, and I know
I
that's
mean,
something.
sometimes the schedule is adjusted on an emergency basis. Our online schedule, I feel nothing will be taken away, some things will be added. Now, would you maybe have to switch a class or two in your, well, you're not planning on a second year, but let's say your last semester, you might have to move a class up, you might have to move a class back.
Right.
It's possible,
Okay.
okay?
And then that segues me into my third point. As a possibility, and I might be jumping the gun on this, but with the capstone class, if it was possible, I know this is specific to my situation, but just offering that more online because, you know, if you look at it, an online student will have to wait a whole year. But I mean, I know that's not really that important, but if that is a possibility, that could be added in more.
Yeah,
Just
now
because-
the other thing about the capstone course is that, I mean, it needs to be taken the student's
Exactly.
last semester,
Exactly.
or as close to that last semester as possible. So
And that's
this-
the problem I'm running into, exactly, because I cannot take it in advance. I have to wait until whenever it's next available.
Mhm. And that's past when you want to be finished with the program.
Yeah, so if I don't take 3 courses, then I'm literally gonna have to wait a whole nother year to
Yeah.
graduate.
Well, that's one of these one-on-ones that we'll have to talk about
Okay,
when we're done.
perfect.
Okay? Yes.
I think I know the answer to the question anyway, but in part of the presentation this morning, she was talking about folks that have prior completed master's degrees, if there are courses that can be transferred in. There's a form that you have to apply for and ask for consideration.
Yeah, as a new student, you have 1 year to request that transfer, okay?
Okay.
And the types of courses that we will transfer in are courses that are very similar to a course we offer.
That's
Okay.
good.
So if you've taken, say, a human resource class, you could transfer a human resource class, things like that.
Okay. And
Or
more
we're not-
management.
We don't look for them to cover the exact same topics
Okay.
necessarily. It just needs to be reasonably close.
Is there a human resources component on here that we need to take?
Well, there's an elective course. We have an elective course on human
Okay.
resource management.
So I think in my prior masters, I think I had at least one human
Okay, well,
resources and one
what we
management.
should do is you should propose to me, here's the classes that you see that you think would be transferable. And, you know, we can work on it together.
I'll send you an email
Yeah.
on it when I do.
And then, and anybody could do that. So you have 1 year from the time you start the program to request that transfer.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Did you say that you added some of the, or that some of the foundation courses were added for this semester?
Yeah, this semester, we added Management 50-10 and Econ 50-30, which are foundation courses, right? And one of them was added yesterday, and one of them was added a couple days ago. And there are students, one's got 7 students, and one has 9 students in it already. So if you're interested in one of those, you should be able to go online and register
Okay.
for it.
Are those physical classes?
Those are online classes. When you say physical classes, I take that as you mean in a classroom?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, those are online classes. And we, you know, things like that, we have a preference for online because we have so many online students that if we offer it online, all the students can take advantage of it. If we offer it in a classroom, then it really narrows down the base of students who can take it in a classroom. So you, probably the things that are offered less frequently are going to be always online. Any other questions on scheduling? Does everybody see how they could possibly build a schedule to completion? Schedule, you know, when you want to take what class? And, I mean, I can work with you on this. If you send me an email about scheduling, I get a lot of emails asking for my PIN and saying that maybe what classes do you suggest that I take? Well, I need to be reminded. You know, I'm an online student, taking so-and-so, doing this. Usually what I do is I pull up your record and look, and I can tell from your record what you've been doing in the past. Okay? If you've been taking everything online, I can see that. And so I'll suggest some online classes that you still need. But you can do that too. You know, your record is available to you. And so, you know, we can both work on it together.
Speaking of the pins, will you email the pins out, or do we have to?
No, you have to at least send me an email.
I know, but
Oh, yeah, I'll email pins out, sure.
because my undergraduate advisor made me come down here for Raleigh.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I can't account for that. No, I email pins, sorry. Now, everything I haven't covered is in your student handbook. You've all read the student handbook, right?
Possible.
So I want to caution you that you are responsible for whatever's in there, okay? I haven't read it either. But I'm not a student. I have read the table of contents to the faculty handbook, okay, which is about 300 or 400 pages long. This isn't that long. So I would recommend that you at least familiarize yourself with the table of contents. Know what kinds of things are in there, and so it's another resource for you, okay? But I mean, I don't mind answering questions. If you have a question, there's probably other people that have the same question. I'll learn from us working out the answer to that question, and I'll be able to answer some questions for other people. But again, my area of expertise is on the program itself, the academics. But I can help you wherever you need help. Okay?
Some of you have already signed up to be a graduate assistant, so that's great, right? But I wanted to talk a little bit about it. Most of this you've probably seen at your briefing today, so I'm not going to go line by line. And not only that, you can find most of this online. Dr. Irene Aiken, at the end of the day, is overall the graduate program. But you have to be accepted into the program to be a graduate assistant. You have to carry the 9 hours unless you're in your final semester and you only have 6 classes left. You can't ask for an exception to policy. You have to have at least a 3.0 GPA and can't otherwise be employed. And then, of course, you have to have all your paperwork. And believe me, she's very specific about that one because I had an issue over the summer. But it all has to be turned in by the proper specified dates.
Wait, back up.
Back up.
Did you move quickly over this not be otherwise employed?
Yeah.
He said it.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, because that's one of
Absolutely.
the areas that we have had some issues with. So I just want to caution you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
you probably wouldn't have the time, full-time student and GA-ship. It'd be really difficult because these positions can be pretty demanding. Even though it's part-time, it's almost like full-time employment as long as you're going to school as well. It can or can't be renewed. It's not a guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, it's not renewable. It's based on a grant.
Right. Another thing to point out is you can be terminated from this job if you're unprofessional or act unprofessional in any kind of way.
That mostly happens to the people that work in the graduate school office. But
No. All right, so it says typically begins with the first day of class and ends on the last day of class. There are a few exceptions. It all depends on who you'll be working with. Generally not available during the summer months, but once again, that all comes down to who you're working with. Down here, they did get the money for me and another graduate, another fellow classmate. We both work down here during the summer months as well. So you just have to check for availability of it.
graduate school office is open in the summer. They had a GA working this summer, so I don't know.
And then it says former GAs, so once you're done with your GA-ship, you're not eligible for unemployment. So like Professor Wren said, go to the Career Center and log in under your Brave Opportunities. If you haven't done it, you can go in there, register, search and apply for the positions. It'll show intern, GA-ship, stuff like that. If a professor has told you a specific number, it's probably easier to go in there and look for that number. You can also contact the Career Center. That's their telephone number. Now they say that you can apply for other graduate type work, student worker, non-graduate assistant, as long as you're eligible for it.
That pretty much wraps up what we planned to discuss. I will allow, if you have any questions for me.
Just one.
Yeah.
I keep hearing mention of provisional, non-provisional.
Yes.
Is that designation given to you when?
When you receive your admissions letter, it should say you have been provisionally admitted to the university, or you have been fully admitted to the graduate school.
Okay, so
Okay.
on that.
So on that letter, and if you have been provisionally admitted, the provisions will be listed. They're most typically a list of courses for people who do not have an undergraduate business degree. There could be other things. Sometimes we're missing a recommendation and we allow you to be enrolled in the program, but we still want that letter of recommendation or something like that, you know. But it's primarily classes for people who were non-business students.
Okay, and where do you declare your concentration?
All you have to do is send an email to Gary Locklear at the grad school, or just send it to grad@uncp.edu. That's a shared mailbox. That one, I guess, a number of people monitor. But identify yourself, what program you're in, you know, what concentration you want. Yeah.
I guess my question ties into his, that's where I'm getting confused, is, so these foundation courses are required for prerequisites for some of the core requirements, but with like the email that you sent?
Only if you're not fully admitted, okay?
Oh.
If you're fully admitted to the program, if you have any doubt about that, I can look it
I
up.
have a bachelor's in business, so.
Yeah, so more than likely,
It says
you're
fully
fully
admitted.
admitted, so
Okay.
you can ignore the foundations
Oh,
courses.
Gotcha.
Go back and check your admissions letter. It's an email, so hopefully you
It
didn't.
is, I got it right, that's what I was sitting here checking all them, like.
And if it says fully admitted, then
I
you
can just
ignore
ignore that
that,
whole
go right
section.
to the bottom
Okay.
section there. Yeah.
Doesn't
Any-
a lot better than that.
Anything else? Okay, well, thank you very much. Take some food with you when you leave. If you have questions, I'm in the office every day, in and out. Call. If you call, leave a message. I don't return calls if you don't leave a message because I assume that you got the wrong number. But if you can just leave a message that says, please call me back.